call to order the meeting of the City of Oviedo Development Review Committee, Thursday, September 27th, 2012. Let the record reflect that all members are present either as themselves or through a surrogate. First item of business is the approval of the minutes of September 13th, 2012 meeting. I entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve the ERC minutes of September 13th, 2012.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Wyatt, second by Mr. O'Rourke, to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. The next item on the agenda is a deviation request for 1361 Alethea Trail, Suite 160, Phong Hong Nguyen Vietnamese Restaurant, Oviedo, Florida. Duke Tran is the applicant. Can we hear from staff, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a request for a 13% deviation to the required 45 minimum number of seats on a bona fide restaurant to request a Class 3-2 COP license, beer and wine, to offer alcoholic beverages for consumption on the premises. This is a requirement of Land Development Code Section 5.6G of the City of Oviedo. This request is to allow the Pho Hong Minh Vietnamese restaurant to offer alcoholic beverages for consumption with a minimum of 39 seats. The applicant is Mr. Duke Tran, the restaurant business owner, and the property owner is WRITC Alethea Square, LLC. The subject property is located at 1361 Alethea Trail, Suite number 160. You have a map on your package that shows exactly the location of the restaurant within that square. The property has a future land use designation and zoning district designation as PUD, Planned Unit Development, and it's governed by a development Alethea Woods zoning classification agreement that states that the area designated as commercial shall conform to the C2 zoning district, where restaurants are permitted use. So the Pho Hong Minh restaurant is located in the commercial area of the PUD and was established in September of 2011 with a total of 39 seats and an area of 1725 square feet. Building permit number 1155833, approved on July 22nd, 2011, lists a maximum allowed number of 48 seats, with 39 being proposed and being shown on the plans. I have here the plans if the board would like to take a look at them. Potable water and sewage capital recovery fees were paid for a total of 39 seats at the time of approval. Staff reviewed the application and the information presented by the applicant pursuant to the criteria set forth in Section 2.6C of the existing Land Development Code as it is outlined in your report. These criteria, they are a total of 7, and some of them don't apply to this case. The first one is existence of special conditions. Our analysis is that the applicant wishes to use the potential increase in revenue originated by the option of actually offering beer and wine beverages to be able to pay for the capital recovery fees for the 9 remainder seats approved by the building permit. Currently, the applicant has paid water and sewer recovery fees for 39, despite the plan's approval for a total of 48 seats in the restaurant. In terms of compatibility, the issuance of a 13% deviation to the minimum number of seats for a restaurant to be issued a beer and wine type Class 3-2 COP license is compatible with the restaurant use as it is a permissible use in the C2 zoning district. Proper use of mitigative techniques. There is no mitigation being proposed for this deviation application by the applicant. Number 4, the protection of environmentally sensitive areas, of course, this item does not apply to this specific case. The number 5, which is only minimum deviation granted, is that the proposed 13% is the minimum to be able to apply for a beer and wine class license because of the requirement that a minimum of 45 seats that the restaurant should have. Criterion number 6, open space and other facilities, is also not applicable to this case. And number 7, which is existing and non-conforming uses or other property, was not a basis for approval of this specific request. You have also in your packet the application and the deviation development order that we have included. It is recommended that the DRC approve the requested minimum number of 39 seats, a 13% deviation to the 45 minimum numbers of seats in a bona fide restaurant requirement of Section 5.6G of the City of Oviedo 2006 Land Development Code to allow the Pho Hoang Minh Vietnamese restaurant to apply for a Class 3-2 COP license to offer alcoholic beverages, beer and wine, for consumption with a minimum of 39 seats. The DRC has the following options: approve the deviation as submitted, approve the deviation as submitted with conditions, approve the deviation as recommended by staff, approve a lesser deviation with conditions, or deny the deviation. This concludes my presentation, and I am available for questions. Thank you.
Do we have any questions for the staff? Are you the applicant?
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything that you would like to add?
Can you come here?
We'll need your name and address.
My name is March Van, and I'm the manager of Vietnamese restaurant. I'm the last on behalf of Jim Travel. So I think in the call yesterday, it just said it was approval, and condition that we feel is certified glass and not less than 7 full bottle. My focus was there was people that were 4 years or 6 or 8 people coming in and for economic reasons they don't get a bottle, they lose their money. And that's part of the concern. We don't want to lose patrons by them not knowing that this is the city is the if the city loses then that's the condition. That's the reason why we're still like glass not offering a whole bottle. That's not the concern on that.
Do you have any questions for the owner?
You're only looking at serving within the building itself. You have no outside seating, correct?
This that's cool.
Okay. The other questions I have, I don't know if they're for staff necessarily, but I'm just curious why the order expires on September 17th, 2013.
We'll get to that. That's not from staff, actually. That's a question for me.
Okay.
Okay? We'll get to that.
All right.
When Deborah called you yesterday, let me do one other procedural thing. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay. When Deborah called you yesterday, one of the things that happens is that in the process, the staff prepares a memorandum and they send it to us ahead of time. I had some questions that I wanted to address, and so I looked at it I took it from the standpoint of addressing it with conditions, and then I felt that what we could do is talk about the conditions here at the meeting, and then whatever the board decided, that would be what we would approve. I'll jump right into Mr. O'Rourke's question. One of the things that, the very first thing, gentlemen, it's here in your in this draft that I asked the staff to put together so that y'all could see them. I thought it would be better for us to have it in front of us rather than me just sitting talking about it. If you want, do you have an extra copy of it? Or
Yeah.
You do? Okay, if you could show it to let her see it as well. The first condition that I'm recommending that we add to the order is that the application expire on September 17, 2013. And that if the applicant wishes to extend the application, I think it must apply within 60 days prior to the expiration date, and that the expiration date may be extended for another year. And the reason that I recommended that is because in the staff report I read that you were wanting to use the revenues to get enough money to pay for your impact fees for your extra seats. And so what I was looking at was, if you make it to 45 seats, you don't need a deviation anymore, and the deviation goes away. So I figured what we could do is keep the deviation temporary until such time as you make it to 45 seats. You don't have to go to 48, you just have to get to 45. And so what we can do is approve it for a year. If you make it to 45 seats before next year, we don't have to do anything. You're compliant. If you're not at 45 seats next year, then we can come back to the board and we can say, hey, we need another year. So that was the thing I was looking at for that. But we'll need you to let us know 60 days before September 17th. The second one, the second, third, and fourth, 6, 7, and 8, these all came out of the Code of Ordinances. And that was one of the things I wanted to ask. Actually, I had a question about it. The second one talks about not selling any alcohol between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. I didn't know how late you were open. Okay, so this really won't affect you. We have a special permit for folks that they can come and get to allow them to sell alcohol after 11 o'clock. But what I wanted to do was that once you make it to 45 seats and the deviation is no longer, then it would be okay for you to come in and get that permit. I was wanting to use this condition that while you have the deviation, there would be no sales after 11. But once you make it to 45 seats, once you get your 45 seats in, then it won't matter because the conditions on the deviation will go away. The third one, this one also deals with serving after 11 o'clock. If you served someone and it was before 11 o'clock, then they could finish the drink, but they had to finish it by 11:30. That's what the next one does. And the number 8 is the one that you never were talking about. And basically, you can still sell like a bottle of wine in the restaurant as long as they drink it there. It's not for you to sell it and then them to take it off, is what it is. You can still sell it by the bottle, there in the restaurant, and they can consume it in the restaurant. It's just not for consumption, like in a package store. Well, the way we worded it was the restaurant should not sell or offer for sale any beers, wines, or alcoholic beverages by the package bottle, original container, for consumption off premises, away from the restaurant. So as long as you're selling it for consumption at the restaurant, there's not a problem. Okay. But gentlemen, this was these conditions. As I was looking at it, I got concerned that we did not have any mitigative techniques for this deviation. And you're the first one to ever come in for a deviation to the number of seats. And so what I wanted to do was to establish some minimum thresholds that we could use such that when others come in, because we do have these small suites like you have out there that have the possibility of selling alcoholic beverages, these small restaurants that may not be able to be at 45 seats. In your case, you have capacity to do it. Obviously, if it was someone who didn't have the capacity to increase their seats, we may have to look at something differently. But since you have the ability to make it to 45 seats, I wanted to recommend these conditions to be added to the order. And the thing about it is that I can't make the motion. So that's why I asked the staff to write it down so that you all can see it. We can have a discussion on it as to, if you feel that, as far as, adding these conditions, if they're reasonable or not. So anyway, that's the background. I hope I answered your question. So, with that being said, are there any other questions? Do we have any questions?
I did.
Okay.
All right, so on number 5, the order expires on September 17th, and an application for an extension has to be submitted 60 days prior. Is there a fee associated with that application for extension?
That was something that I was going to ask the board if y'all wanted to. Normally it's half the fee for like an amendment's half, right? Do we want to charge them? We can actually. I think we have the authority where we could say no cost if we wanted to, or we could
charge fees for building permit extensions. They submit a letter giving us a reason why they need the extension. Make the letter and extend.
I mean, this board would have to approve the extension. That's the only thing about it. But I think we could write it into the order that whether or not a fee would be charged, we can do that.
Mr. Carl, question now. So the time period is predicated on the attempt for the applicant to get the 45 seats. So 6 more seats for the, I'm assuming, utility impact is associated with those seats. Okay. I don't know if you're aware, but the city has redone its impact fee ordinance, and the usage rates that we use to calculate those fees have been reduced, and so the amounts may not be as large as once anticipated. So it may be well within your ability to reach those impact fees within 1 year. And if you hang around after the meeting, I can give you the contact to discuss what the fee will be.
So she comes. I would be in favor of there not being another fee again in less than a year, personally. But that's just my thought. If she came 60 days prior and wanted the extension, and we granted it, it says may extend for a maximum of 1 year. If that was given, what would happen at the end of that 1 year? Would she be back to square one and starting the whole process, or
She can come back and request an extension.
request another extension? Okay. Point of clarification. The only other thing is number 8. Just from personal experience, I know that there is a state corking law where if you buy a bottle of wine and don't finish it, you are allowed to cork the bottle and take it home. So would they be prohibited from doing that for their customers, or would the state law still allow them to do that? Or would it be prohibited?
If they served a bottle of wine at a table and they drank that wine, I would think that the purpose was for consumption on premises. If they didn't finish it, then I would think that they would still be able to take it home from the state statute. Because I take this out of our code of ordinances. And,
Yeah, I just want to be clear.
So I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
My intent of it is that someone doesn't come to the restaurant and says, I want to buy a bottle of wine from you, and they sell them the bottle of wine and they walk
out the door.
Yeah, that's the intent.
Yeah.
But if you served a bottle of wine and they didn't finish it, then I would think the intent was consumption on premises. It wasn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
That's leftovers.
I was thinking of the wine in the shop.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I can't have a single bottle with the.
Right.
So I can put it, we don't take it.
I would make sure that that's the state law. I mean, the only reason I know about it is because at Carrabba's, when they have their Wednesday night specials, it's cheaper to buy the bottle of cork and take it home than buy 2 glasses. So, but I would double check with the state and make sure whatever the parameters were with the state. I just wanted to be sure that we weren't putting in additional.
No, my intent was that that they would not act like a package store.
Yes, I understand that.
Did they insert the word unloaded? You don't want any. Package quality.
Inserted or where is it?
Not myself. Like, unloaded package.
Any unopened package bottle or original container?
I know those restaurants, they don't just give you the beer, they open it for you.
Yeah, right.
Or the water.
I have a question for staff, Mr. Chairman. On the memo under discussion, where it says, the last line on the paragraph, building permit number 11558833 approved, lists a maximum allowed number of 48 seats, with 39 seats showing on the plans. I answered my own question. So the portable fees were only paid on the 39 seats at the time of approval. They weren't paid on the 48.
Yeah.
Okay. I answered my own question. Thank you.
She's not adding the seats until she has enough money to pay for that. But
Yeah.
And see, from the deviation standpoint, she just needs to add 6. And then once she has the 6, she can notify staff, and then staff can come ask us to no longer have the deviation. Do you have any other questions? I guess I have one for you. Do you understand, now that you've seen these two and we've gone over them, is there any other questions that you have regarding any of the 8 conditions? Okay. All right. As I said before, gentlemen, I can't make the motion, so it will have to be one of you guys.
I'll take a stab at it. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to recommend DRC approve the requested minimum number, or requested deviation for the minimum number of seats for the Pho Hong Men Vietnamese restaurant, including the conditions as proposed in the deviation development order.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Wait 1 second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Do we need to add about the fee waiver, or
Anything that you want to have placed on the order, you will need to ask the motioner and the seconder if they agree.
I would suggest that in number 5, the application not have a fee associated with it. I don't know the best wording to put in there, but that would be my suggestion. So now the trick is, what's the best way to say that makes sense in the sentence?
That could be a friendly amendment.
Yeah.
Just as you
You
said
two are
it.
agreeing to it.
Yeah, just as you said it.
So after the word application, fee, add the word fee. What do you think about that? How about if we put at the end of the sentence, application for extension of the expiration date must be submitted to the city 60 days prior to the expiration date. shall be required.
That's fine. I concur.
Do you have any other comments, questions?
I have a question, Mr. Cobb.
Just one second. I'll get to you in just a second.
Okay.
I have one question to the motioner. Does this include all conditions 1 through 8?
Correct.
Okay. So it does include conditions 1 through 8. As amended. Did we want to do anything to 8 to help with explaining off premises versus being able to take an unopened tunnel? I mean, able to take a half open, partially open tunnel. Is there anything we want to do with that? Or do you all think that we covered it?
We certainly covered it verbally. It's probably not a bad idea. I think if you do put the word unopened in front of package, bottle, or original container, that eliminates someone walking in and just getting something and leaving. And then from that point forward, I think the state law would take precedence, and it doesn't apply to beer. It only applies to wine. So the state law would kind of rule, and I don't know that we need to actually list that. I think Rob had a good point. If you put unopened, it eliminates anybody coming in buying something and walking out with it.
So we would have the word unopened before the word between the and package? Sure. The motioner, okay with that?
I concur.
Second?
I concur.
All right. Any other questions? Ms. Roy?
That was my question. Number 8.
Okay. Are you clear? Good. I want to make sure. Okay. We have a motion to approve the deviation request with all 8 conditions listed on the order, with an amendment to number 5, adding the sentence to say no fee shall be required after the requirement that the application be submitted 60 days prior to the expiration date. And we also have an amendment to number 8 to add the word unopened between the words the and package, so that it will say by the unopened package, bottle, or original container. Motion here, that reflection of the motion? Second?
Yes.
Okay. With that, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Gentlemen, thank you. We don't have many of those exercises, but I'm glad we were able to have the discussion. We have no discussion items on the agenda. Our future meeting dates are Thursday, October 4th, Thursday, October 11th, and Thursday, October 18th, all at 2 p.m. in these chambers. It is 2:35 p.m. Take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.